Welcome to the Property Code. I am Nick, and today we are tackling a question that lights up search bars coast to coast: how to get into real estate. The demand is remarkably consistent. People type how to get into real estate with no money, how to become a real estate agent, real estate investing for beginners, house hacking near hospitals, wholesaling real estate, DSCR loans, and whether fractional or tokenized ownership actually works. If that sounds like your late night rabbit hole, this episode is your on-ramp for 2025. Meet Janelle. She is a 30-year-old paramedic in St. Louis who wants daylight in her calendar and durability in her finances. After another 12-hour shift, she writes one line in her notes app: "By this time next year, I want 1 foot inside real estate, either a license, a door, or a desk where deals pass through my hands." That sentence becomes her compass. Janelle discovers there are 3 honest lanes into real estate, and each can stand alone or braid together. The first lane is a career lane where you sell or service deals. Think licensed agent, loan officer, property manager, transaction coordinator, inspector, appraiser, or leasing professional. The second lane is an ownership lane where you buy something, even if small, and let time and rent do their quiet work. The third lane is a capital light lane where you trade hustle for access, like wholesaling, bird dogging for investors, raising investor relations under a compliant sponsor, or joining a development team in an analyst role. She decides to sample each lane for 1 quarter before committing to a long march. She starts with the career lane because it is the most teachable in a few weeks. Licensing boards now allow remote classes in many states, so she blocks weekend mornings to finish her pre-licensing hours. Her question log mirrors national searches. How hard is the real estate exam? How fast can I get sponsored? And how do new agents find clients? She interviews 3 brokerages and skips the shiny split for the one that promises contract coaching and real leads. In 2025, most buyers expect a written representation agreement, so she practices explaining it in plain English. My job is to search, analyze, negotiate, and protect your timeline, and we put our relationship in writing, so nothing is fuzzy. She keeps the license path moving but does not quit her day job. Next, she tests the ownership lane with the least painful version: house hacking. She tours a handful of small duplexes within a 15-minute drive of 2 hospitals. This aligns with what millions search as best areas for first rental and midterm rentals near hospitals. She sets a buy box with 3 guardrails. First, flood and wildfire risk must be low because insurance in 2025 can make or break cash flow. Second, utilities should be separated or easily split. Third, the numbers must work with 1 month of vacancy baked in and an expense ratio that is not fantasy. She walks blocks at dawn and after dark. Street feel matters more than staging. While she hunts, she learns the language of financing because how to get into real estate with little money down is not a myth if you choose the right doorway. Owner-occupied loans allow small down payments for 1 to 4 units if you live there a year. Debt service coverage loans size the mortgage by the property's income rather than your pay stub, useful once your first unit is rented. Some sellers carry a second note if you assume their low-rate mortgage, a path that appears in search data as "assume a mortgage" in 2025. Green loan products shave rates in exchange for efficiency upgrades because lower utility bills, lower payment risk. She favors fixed-rate debt and insists on a reserve equal to at least 3 months of expenses. 6 is better. Now she samples the capital light lane. Wholesaling attracts a flood of searches every winter, but Janelle ignores hype and learns the ethics. You must secure a real, assignable contract at a real price, disclose that you are assigning it, and provide value beyond a postcard. She shadows a local investor for coffee and learns the 2 places hustle still wins in 2025. Heirs selling out-of-state houses they do not want, and small landlords ready to exit older properties that no longer fit new insurance rules. She brings 1 qualified lead to the investor and earns a modest assignment fee. It is not a fortune, it is proof that relationships and accuracy still matter. By spring, she has clarity. She will keep the license because it forces her to know contracts. She will buy a small property because ownership changes her balance sheet. She will keep one capital light channel alive because it multiplies her deal flow. With that decision, she commits to a one-year plan that matches the trends of 2025 rather than fights them. The purchase comes first. She finds a brick duplex listed in the high 300s. The upstairs tenant is a nurse who pays on time and wants to renew. The lower unit is clean and vacant. Realistic leases in the area land around $1,800 per month per unit. Taxes and insurance add roughly $500 a month, and she budgets $300 for maintenance and common utilities. With a small down payment on an owner-occupant loan near the mid-6% range, her projected debt service sits close to $2,000. After 1 month of vacancy and honest expenses, the numbers leave a small cushion while slashing her personal housing cost. She negotiates a seller credit that funds a permanent rate buydown and a small closing cost offset, then adds 2 sentence protections. If construction of a small safety repair delays closing, the seller covers a lock extension, and any discovered lien must be cleared before funds transfer. She orders a general inspection, a sewer scope, and an HVAC check, and wins a small price reduction for an old water heater. Operations begin the day she gets keys. She installs leak sensors and a smart main shutoff because water is the enemy of cash flow. She writes consistent screening criteria that treat everyone the same and enrolls tenants in a rent reporting program that builds their credit for on-time payment. She will learn to swap a faucet cartridge and a wax ring, but she hires licensed pros for electrical and gas. She treats the duplex like a small company with a weekly half-hour finance meeting, even if she is the only one attending. Meanwhile, the license pays off. Her first real client is a travel nurse who found her short videos explaining builder incentives and rate buy-downs in normal words. Janelle is not slick, she is specific. She says, here is the monthly payment with a permanent buy down, here is the cash to close after the builder credit, and here is a single sentence that protects your rate lock if weather pushes the schedule. The buyer signs, closes, and texts thanks after the first warranty ticket is handled well. A month later, 2 of the nurse's co-workers call Janelle because the experience felt calm. By autumn, Janelle's 3 strands begin to braid. Her upstairs tenant renews with a small increase that respects wages and inflation. Her out-of-pocket housing cost drops sharply because the other unit's rent carries most of the note. Her license produces 3 more buyer closings, all at modest price points, and 1 listing from a relative who appreciated her patient explanations. A second investor friend invites her to co-host a small meetup where she explains how to read a rental pro forma with vacancy and reserves that are not made up. None of this is flashy, all of it compounds. 2025 offers tailwinds if you choose them. Cities continue legalizing accessory dwelling units, which means a backyard cottage behind her duplex could add income without buying land again. Efficiency upgrades like heat pumps and insulation often qualify for rebates and sometimes better insurance pricing. Builders with inventory offer targeted incentives that can help her clients lock payments that feel humane. Artificial intelligence mapping can highlight streets where transit upgrades, hospital expansions, or logistics hiring indicate future demand. But she still walks blocks at sunrise and after dark because the street always tells the truth first. The most important lesson is that getting into real estate is not a single leap. It is a series of small, boring promises you keep to yourself. Pick a lane you can show up to every day. Set 1 measurable goal for income and 1 for reserves. Learn the quick math so you can pass on bad deals politely and early. Write clean contracts, keep your word, answer your phone. If you do those things for 1 calendar year, you will look up and find yourself on the inside. Janelle ends the year with 1 property, a growing client list, and a calendar that finally has daylight. She did not gamble. She picked a lane, did the math, guarded her reserves, and let time do much of the work. That is how ordinary people get into real estate in 2025 and stay there long enough to let compounding show up.